Welkom beste mensen bij wederom een uitzending in het nieuwe jaar 2026 van Eemland on the Move. En vandaag hebben we de gast Katherine. Welcome. Katherine, your full name please.
Yeah, Katherine Ritchie.
Katherine Ritchie. Doesn't sound really Dutch, is it?
No. Can you guess?
It's amazing. Yeah, what a giveaway that was. Now, you're originally from?
I'm originally from England,
Okay.
From Hertfordshire. Small town.
Yeah.
That it's about halfway between London and Cambridge. Is kind of the best way for people who don't know that part of England, and there's no reason that you would. That's the best way to describe it. To be honest.
Okay, well, actually, I think, I think I'm looking at the director, but I think you're the first female guest here, right? You've got a better memory than me.
Excellent. I was wondering, looking at your reel, but honoured to, really looking forward to being here.
It's weird. We're going to have more of those, don't get me wrong. So,
Great.
Hertfordshire in England, and you're a referee here in the Ereklasse in the Netherlands. How does that come about? A couple of things. England, now Netherlands, and becoming a referee and rugby and everything that goes with it. Elaborate, please.
Yeah, so I started refereeing when I was at university.
Okay.
I was playing for the university team, not very well, I must add. And I had the opportunity to do a referee's course, and I thought, great, if I understand what the laws are, I now know they're the laws, then maybe my playing will improve. So I went and did the course, and was like, this is cool. I had a coach at the time who was doing a bit of refereeing as well. So I said, I've done my course, can I have a go? Come to some meetings, find out what it's all about. It seems pretty fun. He took me along to a couple of the society meetings originally in South Yorkshire. I did my undergraduate at the University of Leeds, so that was in South Yorkshire. And then between my second and third year of my undergrad, I did an internship. I moved back in with my parents for a year, and I was like, God, I need something to get me out of the house. So I contacted the local referee society in Hertfordshire and said, I've just started, I've done one game, can I come and see what it's all about with you guys? And really, that was kind of the big start of it, starting refereeing regularly. One thing led to another from there. I refereed and played for about 2 seasons. Doing matches, men's matches on a Saturday, women's matches on a Sunday as a player. Wildly unsustainable, particularly when you start work, as I'm sure some of your members will know. And I realised I was a lot better at the referee. I could go a lot further in the game. I could do a lot more with it. If anybody's seen me playing a friendly game of touch, they'll know why. But and at that point, I refereed for 10 seasons in England with the RFU. So particularly when I started out, that was it's a particularly exciting time to be a female referee now, but back then, obviously, things were very different. Things have come on a lot. It was still an exciting time. There was still, if you were young and fit and showed that game awareness, you really had some good opportunities, and I really benefited from that, and I'm very grateful. I had a good support network around me. So 10 seasons with the RFU. I made it up to their level 4, which is National 2.
National 2.
It was National 2.
Okay.
I was doing that.
It's more or less the same level as Ereklasse,
That's
right?
what I was, depending on the level of match, you can it varies, but that's the broad comparison is the National 2.
Me saying that is because we had, last season, we had a National 2 team here.
Nice.
And we lost, but we were competitive. Let's put it like that. So that's
what I've always pitched at, and that was what I came in understanding at. And I think the majority of the time that is very fair. I was doing that. I was doing women's premiership. I have done stuff with Rugby Europe. I've done stuff with World Rugby. I did a season on the HSBC 7 circuit. I've AR'd in the Women's Six Nations and things like that. So, I have been very, very lucky with some of
You just casually mentioning you AR'd. What exactly?
The Women's Six Nations.
The Women's Six Nations.
Yeah, I did several tournaments.
What is AR for the listeners?
That's the assistant referee. So that's the couple of us on the side waving the flag.
Cool. Yeah.
Hopefully at the right time.
Some are not really familiar with acronyms.
No,
okay, cool. Got it. Yeah. Okay.
And then, so a couple of years ago, my boyfriend got a job offer out here in the Netherlands. And I was like, well, I can stay in the UK and we can do long distance, or I can move to the Netherlands with you, and this sounds quite nice. So, so that was really exciting. So that was what brought us out here.
Cool.
So We've been in the Netherlands for just over 2.5 years now.
Oh, that's
and absolutely loving it.
Really?
Absolutely loving it. So this is my 3rd season with Rugby Netherlands.
Immediately you started refereeing here?
Yeah, basically. So we moved over in the April time. And it was probably kind of June. It was about June by the time I was wrapping up the season in the UK. It was about the June I kind of properly moved. And then, I knew several of the guys. I'd done Amsterdam Sevens a few times. So I knew like Michael Asman, I knew Dirk Roof. Apologies, Dirk, for I can never say your name. Kees Blaas, and some of the other, like Rutger van Vaste. I knew quite a few of them. So I said, guys, I'm coming over. Like, I still want to referee. I'm still very, very keen on this. Like, what's the deal? So, they set me up and they were like, right, you're coming over, here you go, we'll get you registered at a club, we get your kit, you have some, like, all set up really, really good. And so came in.
Which club are you registered at?
I'm registered at Rotterdam Students.
Rotterdam Students?
Yes.
Okay.
And from what they always tell me, I have the privilege of being their only female member. So, but okay. nice club.
Oh, that's interesting. Because, well, I played rugby myself, but I did it with the Utrecht Students. But they also have a female department. The Rus is it called.
Yeah, no,
the men's are USRS, the ladies are Rus. But they're now actually more combining. So that's okay. I didn't know what the scene was in Rotterdam.
No, as far it's only the
purely
men's.
men's.
It's only the men's at the moment.
Got it. Okay, so that's cool. So then actually straight away.
Yeah, basically.
That's okay. That's interesting. And having done so, now this is the 3rd season that you're doing this. What is obviously you've got a comparison. What's the difference between English and Dutch? I can imagine a couple, but please.
And quite a few people have asked me this. I think there's a few. One of the big differences I immediately noticed was that sort of that camaraderie in the clubhouse, and that's not to be unfair to the English teams who still do it very well. But what I mean is that, we've already said that, we're about the same level, about the Air class teams playing about National 2, and that was what I was doing. It's more that you'd never really go into a clubhouse of a National 2 team after a game and have that same people still standing up and doing pints, and some may do, and I might be massively misrepresenting some of the clubs, but you've still got here that very community grassroots feeling, whereas at some of the clubs that's maybe not as much the case, or and so that was what I really loved. It still, that you really get that whole club atmosphere in the same way, and you've got that, not saying amateur in a bad way, but that amateur side of the game that comes into it, whereas there probably are more players who are semi-professional, professional in England with that. So that was just a little adjustment that I noticed. You come in and everybody's still standing up and doing their post-match pints and everything. That was a wonderful feeling. And then I think on the pitch, there was just a few, for me, it was a few styles of play and playing techniques. And I've spoken a lot to some of the coaches about this. So, for example, I'd see things here that I'm like, I thought we got rid of this in the UK, or in the RFU 2-3 seasons ago.
Really?
So as many of the coaches will know, one of my pet peeves was the stepping off at the line out. So this is when if you don't want to contest a maul, you can only go along the line of touch. You can't step back off of it. Yeah. And I don't want to know the stats of how many penalties I gave in my first season.
Really?
For this, because this was something we'd gone through in the RFU a few seasons ago, penalised everybody for it, for unsportsmanlike play and for being offside. And it wasn't in the game. Then I came over here and I was like, we're still doing this, are we, boys? Right, well. And so everybody very quickly learned. And to be fair, a lot of the coaches were like, look, we do want to see this. This is how it should be. Yeah. So it was things like that I noticed, was just that,
we're a little behind.
The adjustments and just some of that, obviously.
But it's just for me to understand. So this was already an effective rule that should have been enforced because it was standard in the RFU in the UK. But we, for some reason, just didn't do it here or weren't refereed on.
I don't know. It was definitely something, not just in the RFU, kind of around the world. This was one of the things that come in and we dealt with, and you see trends in the game all the time, right? Somebody comes in with a great idea and then we refer it out and it goes in cycles. I think it was being dealt with a bit, but not necessarily maybe consistency, or maybe people weren't as aware of the pictures, or maybe maybe it was one of those things, like, I don't know what it was like in previous seasons, but maybe again, you've got a coach comes in with a great idea and like, let's see if we can try it out. So,
okay. So that's so if you look at, so if you can compare it, so the level would be more or less the same. So the speed and the intensity is also more or less the same as National 2, or is that different? But again, from my perception, the perception that we're trying hard, but we still have that little Calimero complex that we're not even close to whatever they do in the UK. So they're much more involved. It's an integral part of society there. While here it's a niche sport. It's not even in the top 20 yet. I've learned of amount of players. Yeah, in Netherlands.
Yeah, okay, wow. I didn't.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I was like, oof. Like for instance, we know that in Scotland there's only 40,000 registered members. Okay. And we know what level they play. So I thought, and we're here with trying to get to 20,000. So that's decent. So it's halfway there. But if you look at the total picture, we're not in the top 20 of unions even. So that gives it already, I think, a sense of togetherness. I think clubs and the whole club culture in the Netherlands overall is much more. Why? Because in the UK or Anglo-Saxon countries, sports is integrated in school, while here it's completely not. Sports you play at a club, you don't do that at school, more or less. You get your mandatory gym lessons. That's it. That's maybe also a big difference than back in the UK. Or.
I don't know, and I can always just offer my perspectives and kind of my experiences. I think that is something that I've loved about coming in, and the whole Rugby Netherlands family. You definitely feel that camaraderie throughout everybody who is involved in rugby in the Netherlands. Yeah. I love that. Obviously, you've got not just Dutch people, you've got a lot of people from the Southern Hemisphere, I meet other Brits on a regular basis, So I think it is that really good meeting point. You have the sports clubs are great places for people to come together, right? We've got a shared interest. We'll go down to the rugby club or watch this. Yeah. And so I definitely think that helps as well. It's just everybody's here because they love the game, right? Like, we're here, we want to watch it, we want to do it, we want to be involved. Yeah. It's a touch point to something that is a big thing in our home countries, but that's definitely something I've noticed and really, really love about rugby over here, is just that community, the camaraderie, kind of as I say, no matter which club you're with or kind of what you're doing.
Have you refereed actually the Rotterdam students?
Only in pre-season games.
Pre-season.
So I'm not allowed, because I'm a member of the club, I'm not allowed to referee them.
Obviously.
And obviously that's it. So I think that's part of the reason I was maybe placed with students and not with Rotterdam.
Because then,
you're taking another ref out of our class games, and it just becomes, It becomes
a challenge. Yeah, no, we know about that. Absolutely. So that's interesting. Also, indeed, if you, as you just touched on that, indeed, if you look at the coaches here, I think there's only one Dutch coach on the Ereklasse, and the rest is all foreigners. Indeed, it's all.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
I think only Castricum is the Dutch one, and the rest is all foreign. Here also, here's Mitch McGann.
Yeah, no, of course.
It's.
Roland at Breda.
Oh yeah,
Ronald, not Roland.
Yeah,
Ronald at Breda.
Yeah, that's the
Breda. So you got 2. Yeah.
2 out of 12.
There so that's it's still it's
So it is indeed 10. So it makes it probably also easier to communicate, indeed, for you to. Or not.
So look, don't get me wrong. I am very actively learning Dutch, and I will listen to Dutch.
Hey,
the Dutch.
I've got a head coach here, Mitch McCann. He's actually married a Dutch wife, and he lives here. But we're still going conversation English, and he's way longer here than you. So it's not a knock on you and your Dutch.
No. I am very actively learning, and bless. You'll ask the other referees. I'm always like, guys, let's speak Dutch. You can put up with my terrible Denglish. But look, that was definitely a very easy bit of integrating. Was that I can come to rugby, and it is all in English. So that was definitely a big help.
Yeah, and just indeed another bit of a topic that we just had a conversation just before this interview about indeed the acceptance. What amazes me is indeed in this what you call very macho, manly world of rugby, the acceptance of a female referee in the Netherlands. Indeed, it's not overall, but in the Netherlands, it's there's nowhere close to be a female ref on the highest level, and here it's not even an issue. It's as is. I mean, as you go. That's also interesting, or at least you would peculiar to say the least.
So I think, and like you say, there's very much the distinction between you've got very good female match officials all sports across the world. I think you write that distinction about the Netherlands in particular. And look, I don't know a lot about other sports, but here definitely I felt no issues coming and settling in. I think some of it was that, you know, I moved and I was like, I know who I am and my abilities and what I'm about. So I'm going to come here and do it how I've always done it. You make some adjustments. But I think, again, what everybody was like is that we just want somebody who can referee a game well. And don't get me wrong, there was definitely probably a bit of surprise from a few people when you see the referee and it's like there's this short English woman who's turned up for this. Like, because I don't know if any of the players would have seen me before. You know, I did a couple of times, so I don't know if any of them would have seen me before. And suddenly I've appeared and I'm refereeing a error class game. Right? So that's a very big culture shock. But then I think as soon as I blew my whistle, as soon as I got into it, and they were like, okay, she does seem to know what she's doing, and so don't always agree with me, but like, you know, I really felt like I had that chance to earn their respect, to build that trust with them. Like, guys, like I'm here, I know what I'm doing, you know, there's some great rugby, you trust me to sort the games out. So have only had good receptions from everybody, been very, very welcomed. Everybody's been really positive about it.
That's
cool.
That's good. I've still got 2 questions, and then we need to be aware of time. He's pretty lenient. Yeah, he's already smiling and nodding. So, the first question: what is for you a perfect game?
Well, so I tell you what. So, as referees, you can never be perfect. We cannot aim for perfection because that immediately will cause us issues. I think you want a game where you come off the field and you know that you have done your best. You know that everybody's enjoyed the game. You know that everybody's come off the game safely. And there's really not been any kind of major drama. Or if there is, that you're like, actually, I know I handled this in the way that I should have done. It's just knowing that you've done all you can to enable it and that you've got as much right as you can with the information you've got at the time. So.
Okay. And then the last question, and I ask this everybody: what is your ambition? What are your goals?
Yeah, so look, I am loving refereeing out here. I've obviously had some amazing experiences towards the top of the game. I want to continue doing that with a Rugby Netherlands hat on, if possible. I've represented Rugby Netherlands at Rugby Europe, which was wonderful, and I want to continue. I want to get back to be able to do so, if at all possible. For me, it's just about being the best ref that I can be out here, and seeing where that takes me. Hopefully there's some more appointments, but you never know, that's outside of our control. So I'll be happy if I know that I've kind of done as much as I can, but also whatever I can bring to Rugby Netherlands, again, to my referee colleagues, to refereeing as a whole out here. You know, I know I'm very privileged in the background I've had within refereeing, and so if there's anything I can do to kind of help support that going forward, really, really keen. I feel very passionate about being part of Rugby Netherlands now, so I want to see what I can do to help with that going forwards.
Lovely. Katherine, thank you very much for taking the trip down here in Amersfoort from Rotterdam.
Thank you well, Daan. Thank you well.
We probably are going to meet again. We're going to meet for sure here on the pitch.
At some point, I'm sure. Yeah.
Thanks. And take care.
No worries. Thank you.